What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the Beef It's On podcast. And today I'm here to talk to you about a story that has, since the weekend, has gone viral. And it was brought to my attention while I was at work. And it was a simple story at the time. And I looked into it. It's going viral online. People are trying to identify photos. People are trying to figure out what's going on. Story out of Dallas, Texas. Familiar scenario. White cop shoots a black man. But me specifically, I don't think that this is a of case of racism or another situation that we've seen. I think it's just a familiar scenario. But I have the article here from CNN. I can't find the original article, but this is the updated article. I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to talk about it, and you tell me what you think from the article. Titled Dallas Police Officer Charged with Manslaughter and Fatal Shooting of Unarmed Man in His Own Apartment. Unarmed in his own apartment. By Ann Claire Stapleton and Darren Simon of CNN. This was 11:22 at night on Sunday, September 9th. A Dallas police officer was arrested Sunday in connection with the shooting death of Botham Shem Jean, the Texas Ranger said. Amber Guyger, who was white, was off duty when she shot Jean, a black man, after mistakenly entering his own apartment at the complex where she also lived. Police said Thursday Jean, 26, a native of St. Lucia who worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers in Dallas, died at the hospital. Guyger, 30, of Dallas, was charged with manslaughter according to jail records. The 4-year veteran of the department was released from the Kaufman County Jail on Sunday evening after posting a $300,000 bond. It wasn't immediately clear if Guyger had an attorney. Guyger's arrest was announced as Jean's family and their attorneys say they met with Dallas County District Attorney Faith Johnson to demand the officer's arrest. We don't need evidence beyond a reasonable doubt at this point, the family's attorney S. Lee Merritt told reporters Sunday. At this point, we need a probable cause of a crime, and the existence of probable cause is painstakingly clear to everyone. Merritt said attorneys presented prosecutors with a witness and video evidence which didn't capture the shooting, but declined to elaborate. We're still dealing in America with black people being killed in some of the most arbitrary ways. Driving while black, walking while black, and now we have to add living while black, co-counsel Benjamin Crump said. Jean worked as a risk assurance experienced associate at PricewaterhouseCoopers. According to his LinkedIn page, he earned a bachelor's degree from Harding University in Arkansas. In 2016, Crump said Jean was doing everything you want a young person to do. He had no criminal history. He was an amazing student. He was an amazing citizen. He loved God, Crump said. Dallas Mayor Mike Rawlings thanked the Texas Rangers and praised Police Chief Ulisha Renee Hall. It's a funny spelling. Ulisha Renee Hall, who asked the Texas Rangers to take over the investigation. Please continue to pray for the family of Botham Jean tonight and in the weeks and months ahead, Rawlings said in a statement. Now, this to me, me personally, I have a lot of questions because that was a lot to read. There's more than one article. I read an article earlier. I read an article the day of yesterday. Of course, there's an updated article later on, and there's more articles out now currently about what happened. Now, I think one of the rumors that has to be shut down is a lot of people think that apparently, as far as it being just a blatant murder, apparently the rumor got out that Botham and Amber were dating and that she already knew him, and there's rumors of a picture swirling around of them together. But Dallas News issued a article saying that that's not the case, and that wasn't them. That was a woman who looks familiar to Amber that he went to college with. So that wasn't her. So she does not know. And apparently Amber just moved to the area a month ago, before this incident. So she didn't know him before or anything like that. So I just want to dispel that myth right there. Okay, now on to the article. The first question that I have, in another article, is that you walk to the wrong apartment. I'm not going to say nobody's ever guilty of doing that because I've done that before While I was in college, and I was at Coastal Carolina, and my dorm setup was in an apartment style. For anybody who knows the coastal dormitory living at Grand Strand, at University Place. Now, but the thing is, I can't get in. You know what I'm saying? So I might walk to the wrong dorm and try to attempt to get into the wrong dorm, but I can't get in because my key doesn't work. Which is the question that I have. Is because if you were able to get the door open in order to shoot Botham, how did you get into the apartment? Which is my question, because in another article they said the way of entry was by key card or by pin. So my thing is, if my pin or my card shouldn't work for any other door but my own. You see what I'm saying? So my big issue is, how did you get into the apartment, which is why the murder aspect comes in for me. And now I think the immediate play on it was race, because it's a familiar situation. White cop kills a black man, an unarmed black man. That's a normal situation. We've been dealing with that in the media more than once. For majority of time right now, it's going viral, and I think social media is helping ramp the awareness on that, and is driving that that platform. Black Lives Matter, and Kaepernick kneeling for the anthem and so forth. But I don't think it's the case of that situation. But the family is driving that because they feel like I have to find it. I don't have the article in front of me, but I read that he felt like he quoted, "Why wouldn't? I mean, not why wouldn't? Would it have been different if he was a white man? If she would have walked into his apartment and saw a white man there, would she still have shot him with a reaction?" Well, I think if anybody walks into the apartment or home and sees somebody else in there, I think the reaction will always be the same, especially if you're not expecting someone to be in there. And especially if you know no one's coming. Now, and their question was like, if you walk into your home, what about the home was familiar? Was it the family photos? Did you guys have the same, family photos? Was your decorations the same? Like, how did you not know that you were in the wrong apartment? And my question is, that all makes sense, but when I first walk into my house, I don't pay attention to the family photos in the house because I know they're there. They're just a blur. But I still, you would notice that your house is not decorated the same. And she said there was a silhouette. She couldn't really tell, who it was. She just saw a guy. But my thing is, like I said, your entry into the apartment is what questions me. And then also to mention, they brought up the fact that she shot a guy before on duty in 2017. But in the situation that I read, it makes sense. She went to arrest the guy. Situation was she went to arrest the guy. He tried to escape. She tased him. He wrestled the taser away from her. So she pulled out a gun and then she shot the guy in the abdomen. He lived or whatever. He's in custody. But I don't. So she's prone to pulling the trigger. But I don't think I want the question to me that I don't understand is what happens in that moment that the door is open. That's part of the story to me. Isn't clear. It isn't a credible story to me. Like, it just seems really like that's all that happened. Like, you accidentally walked in, so you shot him. You know what I'm saying? You didn't question. Like, he didn't say, "Yo, you're in my apartment. This is my apartment." That no conversation, I felt like some dialogue could have happened. And then you're a cop, so you're a trained officer. Should be a trained. And I think that's the issue that's coming up a lot, is how well trained are officers before they get put out into duty. Is that once you pull the gun, you should be, if you're at a safe enough distance, you should automatically be in control of said situation once you have your gun out. So if your gun is out, you should be able to, pinpoint like, hey, this guy's in my house. If he doesn't have a weapon on him, he's unarmed, he's not reaching for a gun. I think at some point, cops have to know how to shoot somewhere other than a fatal part of your body. Maybe, a shoulder, a thigh, a foot, something like that, other than going straight for a kill shot because you feel like your life is in danger. You have to be more in precise control. Now, she has been arrested with manslaughter. They had to call for it, and I think the big thing that her family was pushing was that she didn't get arrested on site, and that was a big thing with them because they felt like it should have been done. And now they did draw a blood sample to test to see if she was on drugs at the time, and I agree with the family on the fact that she should have been arrested immediately because if you have a question like that, I know of any situation where you get arrested, you go ahead, you get arrested, you go, you sit down. Well, you shouldn't get arrested because she was the victim per se in the situation, even though she wasn't the one that got shot. They pull you to the side, they take a conversation, the cops get together, they have a little meeting, the ambulance come to check you out, they drug test you, all that. I think at that point, yes, you would think like, hey, she was defending herself, it was self-defense. But if you confer and she can't give you any other thing as to any kind of piece of information as to why she shot them other than, hey, I accidentally entered the wrong apartment and shot him, at that point, that's not a credible reason to shoot someone. Hey, I entered the wrong apartment on accident. I thought he was in there, so I shot him. That's not a reason that you shouldn't go to jail for manslaughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you entered the wrong apartment. You were in the wrong place, and it was a false sense of self-defense. And if that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So, it'll be crazy to see how this story plays out. In my opinion, I think it was just a familiar scenario as to what happened. That, it was a white cop shot a black man. I don't think it's another situation of, I think it's a familiar scenario, but I don't think it's among the same racial lines as the other killings. But once again, it is the same scenario, so it's going to be lumped in with it. And it'll be interesting. Granted, on this time, she has been arrested on manslaughter charges, unlike the previous people before, who, the other cops on duty who get arrested, or they're out in 30 minutes, they're out on bond, they get on paid leave. She, on the other hand, has been arrested on manslaughter charges. But it'll be crazy to see how it plays out. They're going to go through court. They're going to go through proceedings. I waited to put this story out because I wanted to give you a little bit more information, because I feel like in the first beginning of the scenario that everybody's swirling. There's going to be updates every 2 hours. I don't want to put out a video that's going to leave you wanting more answers until something else comes up, or if I give you a video to watch and then 2 hours later something comes out, then I have to give you another video. And I think that was the case with this, because I first heard of the story Saturday, and I don't think I really looked. I got on Facebook, and that's when I saw the fake photo, and I messaged my manager about that, and then I read more about it Sunday night, and then now again Monday. So that fast, a story is coming out every day, every couple hours, and the articles are being updated. So I felt like at this point, this would be the best way to do that. And moving forward, I will keep you updated, and this will be a story to keep up with, and see how it all plays together. Once again, this is Javon. This is Buford Zone. Until next time.